If you take a look at the overall performance of all modules of the IELTS test, you can see that IELTS candidates score the lowest in speaking. You don't want to be one of them. So what can you do to raise that score? In this video, I'm going to give you some practical advice as to how to improve your overall speaking skills and get a higher score in the IELTS Speaking Test. Hi, I'm Dina Panagi, and over the last 20 years I've helped thousands of students succeed in their IELTS goals so they could go overseas to work or to study. Today I want to share what I know with you, beginning with the speaking part of the IELTS test. According to British Council statistics, speaking is the area where the students get the lowest score. So I put together this video to show you ways to improve your speaking skills, which will help you get a higher IELTS band score. In the first part of this video, I'll focus on how you can include speaking practice in your daily routine to improve your general speaking competence. In the second part of the video, I'll give you tips to improve your performance in the IELTS speaking test. By the way, if you're taking IELTS sooner or later, you might want to check out my new Udemy course. It's a complete IELTS preparation course for all modules with extra practice material that will help you succeed in the test. You'll find the link in the description. But enough of that, let's get started. First of all, you need to understand why speaking is so challenging. In reading and writing, you have some time to think about the answer or what you're going to write down. However, in speaking, you're under pressure to answer immediately. It's quite stressful to find the suitable words and expressions and use them to make meaningful sentences without time to prepare all of this. Many experts justly argue that speaking is the very last skill a learner masters when learning a new language. Some say it's due to the lack of confidence, some say it's shyness, others say it's the fear of being judged. But the fact is that fluency, which is the ability to speak smoothly without hesitation, requires mastering two things. Physical fluency, which is basically how your mouth and tongue cooperate to produce English words together, and mental fluency, which is how your brain puts suitable words into sentences. Mastering fluency in speaking requires regular practice and dedication, just like playing the piano or swimming or any other skill. Don't expect to improve your speaking if you don't learn what's needed and practice systematically. If you lack confidence, or if you think that people will laugh at you because of your accent or because of mistakes you may make, stop this kind of thinking now. I've been in your shoes when I was learning Greek. I was scared. I couldn't remember the right words and how to form sentences. But then I realized people actually appreciated my effort to speak this foreign language. Many were willing to explain the language or help me learn. They didn't laugh at me at all, as I thought they would. In time, I felt confident enough to speak in the new language, and so can you if you develop the mindset that you can do it. The main point in speaking is to communicate. It doesn't matter if you make mistakes or speak with a different accent. There are many different ways of saying something and many different accents, especially in English. Many people think that they must speak with a British accent, but this isn't true. There are so many different accents, even in Britain, depending on the area you come from. Even within London, people speak with different accents. There are so many different accents in all parts of the world. So no accent is correct or incorrect. Now let me show you some ways that you can practice and improve your speaking skills. Expose yourself to English on a daily basis as much as possible. What I mean is, you need to listen to authentic English every day. You can do this by listening to English music, watching movies, your favorite series, YouTube videos in English, with English subtitles if you need them. Find what interests you the most and watch the same thing more than once if it interests you. Don't worry if you don't understand everything. Not everyone does. You can still get the general meaning from the context or the words around the unknown words or phrases. You'll find that as time goes on, you'll find you can understand more each time. You may wonder now, but how can listening improve my speaking? Well, all language skills are connected. You can't speak without listening. By listening to English daily, you can benefit in many ways. Firstly, you can increase your vocabulary. When you hear new words, you can record them in a notebook and use them in a sentence to help you remember them. Just 15 new words a day means 750 words in a month. Secondly, you also hear how English is spoken naturally by native English speakers. You can hear how the speech is connected and imitate what you hear. In the sitcom Friends, every sentence you hear contains connected speech.
Hey, you guys, I'm gonna go out and take a walk.
Phoebe, why is your bag moving?
Oh, it's not.
Seriously, it's moving.
What the hell's in there?
It's just my knitting, that's all.
You can practice this by listening to short excerpts from your favorite sitcom. Stop the video and repeat what you hear. By repeating what you hear, you'll get a better idea of how natural language sounds, and over time you'll sound more like a native speaker. Another benefit of listening to sitcoms or podcasts or anything that interests you is that you hear grammar in use and idiomatic language. I've downloaded on my phone Google Podcasts, and there are so many interesting topics that I hear every day. Listen to this from a podcast I heard just yesterday. A young 22-year-old was diagnosed with cancer, and she's telling her story.
We had to turn to my sister, Sarah, and see if she would be a match for a stem cell transplant. That was the last hope that we had. And thankfully, an absolute miracle, she was a complete 10 out of 10 match, which is very rare that you have the odds in your favor. So that was a true blessing. And then over the months of treatment, I was able to then be discharged and recover at home. But the recovery at home was another ordeal of dealing with essentially the collateral damage. The cancer had been cured, but then the body then needs to recover. So all in all...
In this short excerpt, you can hear interesting language, a true blessing. It's a very nice way to talk about something very nice that happened to you. To have the odds in your favor. This is an idiom which means that it was likely she would succeed in beating the cancer. I was then able to be discharged. To be able to, plus passive voice, to show that she was allowed to leave the hospital and go home to recover. The cancer had been cured. The use of past perfect passive voice to show something which happened in the past before another event. In this case, being discharged from the hospital. Beating the cancer, another idiom which means to cure the cancer. So you can see how useful it can be to do this little exercise every day. It doesn't have to take long. 10 minutes a day with an interesting podcast such as this one, or an episode from your favorite series, can make a huge difference to your speaking skills if you repeat what you hear over and over again. You can also subscribe to my channel and listen to the way my voice flows as I speak. Note the rhythm and the intonation of my voice and imitate what you hear. And by the way, don't forget to subscribe to my channel to incorporate the upcoming videos to your practice. I love listening to music. I feel it can really lift me when I need a boost, and it can decrease my stress levels. I'm sure many of you will know what I mean. I'm also sure there are times when you're bored studying English the traditional way and need a fun way of improving your speaking skills. Singing along to your favorite English songs is a very enjoyable way of improving your speaking skills, and it can also help you get comfortable speaking and using English. So how do songs improve your English? Well, songs use a wide variety of words, sentence structures, idioms, and generally a lot of useful daily language. This will also help you to speak, as long as you sing along with the singer. You can print out the lyrics, that's the words of the song, and follow the words with the singer or sing karaoke. There are a lot of songs on YouTube with the words on the screen, which is really helpful for following along. Listen to these words from Katy Perry's Roar.
I used to bite my tongue and hold my breath, scared to rock the
I used to bite my tongue and hold my breath. Note the use of used to plus infinitive for something that happened repeatedly in the past.
mess. So I said quietly, agree politely.
So I sit quietly, agree politely. This shows the use of a verb and an adverb.
I let you push me past the breaking point. I stood for nothing.
I let you push me past the breaking point. The breaking point is when you reach the moment of greatest tension or strain.
Shake the ground. You held me down, but I got up. Get ready, 'cause I've had enough.
You held me down, but I got up. The use of past simple for consecutive actions in the past. I've had enough. To have enough is when you're unhappy with the way things are and you want to stop. Can you see how singing this song or any English song repeatedly will help you remember vocabulary, phrases, and grammar structures? If you think about it, the language from a song stays in our mind much longer than language learnt from long vocabulary or grammar lists. Also, by copying the singer's pronunciation of the lyrics and letting the words flow, you will become more fluent and a lot more relaxed when speaking, as you'll be improving your physical fluency at the same time, which is the way our mouth and jaw move as we speak. Is there any English song that stays in your mind and helps you learn new words? Let me know in the comments section. Thinking in your native language and then trying to speak English is just another process of translation. But try to avoid translation because this is not an effective way to have a conversation. You're more likely to make grammatical mistakes and you may get stressed about not coming up immediately with the phrases and words you need. For example, native Greek speakers usually say, "You have right," instead of "you're right." Or some native French speaker might say, "I present you my boyfriend," instead of "I'd like to introduce you to my boyfriend." These mistakes happen exactly because they translate from their native language to English. Do you make such mistakes? I'm curious to know what your native language is and what the most common mistakes that speakers of your language make in English. Let me know in the comments. How can you develop the ability to think in English? Practice by using English in your head when you're thinking about your day, for example. It also helps you when you learn new vocabulary to learn the meaning in English instead of looking up for the word in your native language. You'll realize that it's easier to speak English when you think in English, and this will help you develop mental fluency. We all know the best way to improve speaking is to basically get out there and have a real conversation. In other words, to immerse yourself in English. Okay, this may not be possible where you live if there are no native English speakers around, but there are other ways of practicing your speaking. Find an online conversation exchange partner or join a discussion group to practice with. By Googling or downloading a conversation app, you can find many people from around the world willing to chat with you. Some groups post a topic in advance so you can prepare for it before you meet online. This is very good practice for the speaking test, as you'll be in a real speaking situation and you can increase your vocabulary on a variety of topics. In time, you'll get used to being under the pressure of having a real conversation in English, and you'll be more willing to develop your answers. Many students feel more confident chatting with someone they don't know, as there's no judgment. How can you do that? There may be a language exchange club in your area you can join, or an expat community that needs your local guidance. Maybe you can find a language partner to chat with. This is a great way to get to know people informally. Maybe you'll make some good new friends as well. If that isn't an option, consider hiring a private tutor. A lot of students choose the online lessons offered by IELTS Elephant. Not only will you practice your spoken English, but you'll also get assessed on your IELTS speaking performance. Visit my website to learn more about the online lessons. Remember, it's very important to have conversations in English to improve your mental and physical fluency. Another way to practice and improve speaking is by talking to yourself. But maybe it'd be better to do this when you're alone, so you don't get a funny look. Talk to yourself about your day, your hobbies, your interests. Use IELTS type questions and expand your answers as you would in the real test. One of my students found an original way of practicing speaking. He found it useful to talk to Google and see how much Google understood him. You can even use a mirror so you feel like you're talking to someone. You can pretend you're having a discussion with a friend. Use body language, observe your facial expressions and any other conversational cues. Imagine that you're actually talking to the examiner. How would your expression and body language change as you answer each question to show excitement, happiness, or whatever else you're describing? Simply speaking out loud will help you become more comfortable speaking English, as it will develop your mental and physical fluency. This brings us to the end of the first part of the two-part video. In the second part, you'll learn the best tips to get a high band score in your IELTS speaking test. If you enjoy this video, make sure you hit like and hit the subscribe button. I post 1-minute videos with free IELTS tips on YouTube and on Facebook, so make sure you don't miss them. Let me know in the comments if you like this video, if you want tips for improving the other language skills or for your IELTS preparation. So I'll see you in the second part of this video.